So I've been in this business since 1984, and I think the hardest thing to talk to anybody about is nutrition, proper eating habits. It's hard, and the reason why, if there's one thing that this industry disagrees with, is how to eat the correct way. I mean, what is the correct way? After all, we're all different. And so I'm going to give you my opinion, which again is just an opinion. I'm not a licensed dietitian or a PhD. I'm just a person who's been working in this field for over 30-something years, and I've seen the trenches. I've seen what works and what doesn't work. And let me tell you what doesn't work. We are an industry that keeps putting all this high-tech stuff from the workout to the nutrition. We think a person who walks in the front door immediately needs to go on an advanced workout and a macro diet. How much protein, carbs, and fat do you need every 3 hours? You need the exact amount. Goodness gracious. Let me tell you what I've learned. If nothing is the last 10 years, I've learned this, that if I can just get you to be consistent, that's the new perfect. Let's get that down first. That's why I call this Nutrition 101. Let's get that down first. Let's get it to where you want to do that. It's doable. And then if you get to the point where you want to advance, then we can look at those diets or where we... And the problem with those diets is they even have controversy going on, and how much protein is right, how much carbohydrates are right, how much percent of fat do we need, how much vitamins and minerals, how much whatever. I tell you one thing I've seen change. I remember when the banana was considered the most perfect food, because the commercial said possibly the world's most perfect food. Then it went to bad, then to good again. I don't even know where it's at on the scale now. Depends who you ask. The egg, good, bad. Here's what I want you to think about. We do know this. This has never changed. We know we need protein. We need it. It's Muscle's favorite food. We know we need carbohydrates. What? Oh no. Yeah, complex carbohydrates. Here's why I say that. I look at the healthiest people in the world, not just what goes on here. I've looked at what we've done to America in the last 40 years. When we first started doing high protein, low carbohydrate diets, we took the carbohydrates completely away and we got fatter. Let's look at the healthiest people in the world and look at they're usually the Asian people, and they eat whole wheat, rice, grain, and fish until they get to McDonald's in the neighborhood. So here's the thing. We know we need certain things. What we need to learn first of is good eating habits. Not necessarily what you're eating, but how you're eating it. And so what I'm going to do is share with you some things that I know that work with every client I've had for a long, long time. At least the last 25 years that we've had Legends. But here is what I want you to think about. Will you follow this or not is my concern. And I know you will. I know it's very doable. So here's what I want to tell you. Let's look at it this way. You all of a sudden decided, I'm ready to change my life. I'm ready to get a healthier lifestyle. But maybe your lifestyle has been terrible up to that point. Maybe you didn't even know how bad it was until you started looking and really thinking, wow, this is terrible. I need to get my eating habits better. So let's look at it this way. Let me ask you a couple of questions. First of all, you need to ask yourself, why did you all of a sudden decide to eat better? I mean, are you really serious about it? Maybe rate this on a scale of 1 to 10. How important really is it to you? Scale 1 to 10, 1 being, well, it's actually my spouse making me do this. I don't even want to do it. 6 to 7, I really want to change my eating habits, but I know there's going to be a lot getting away. 9 or 10, I'm committed to the point, I'm tired of feeling the way that I've felt. I'm ready to be healthy, and there's basically nothing going to get away. So where are you on that scale before I go any further? You know where you're at. So let's look at it this way. You're ready, and I'm ready to help you. So here's what I want to ask you. Most of the time, most people think I want to change my eating habit because I just want to lose weight. They're not thinking about health. Now, if it comes along with it, great. And because of that, we go on the craziest diets. I mean, I was a wellness director for Wadley Hospital, 18 years ago for 4 years. And when I was the wellness director for that hospital, I saw the unhealthiest diets floating around the hospital with medical people. I don't understand it, but it was, I mean, the eat cabbage one day, skip 2-day diet, the high protein, low carb, thousands of diets, and yet everybody was still heavy. And then once he lost weight, lost all their muscle, they looked worse. They looked like a microwave version of themselves. Not putting them down, it's just the fact that textbook answers don't always work when it comes to losing body fat. So you got to ask yourself, what do you want to lose? Because if you come in here to the gym and I tour you and I ask you, hey, what's your goal? And you say, hey, I want to lose weight. If I ask you again, hey, what's your goal? You're going to think, well, maybe he didn't hear me. And you tell me again, I want to lose weight. But when I ask you the third time, hey, what's your goal? and you say, I told you I want to lose weight. Well, I'm going to ask you, what do you want to lose? Water, muscle, fat? What do you want to lose? Because when I put you on the scale, I don't know what you lost or what you gained. And then all of a sudden you think, never thought about that. Well, I hope you want to lose this, which is fat, and not this, which is muscle. Speaking of that, by the way, if you died right now, I mean, you killed over in the chair that you're sitting in watching this video, would I ever have to feed you again? Yeah, I asked you that. Would I ever have to feed you again? Well, hopefully your answer is no, because you're dead. Well, then you need to ask yourself, what do you want to lose, muscle or fat? Because you've got to, and this is a pound of fat, a pound of muscle. So hopefully you said, I want to lose the fat. Well, if you hold these two by each other, then what you're going to see is you're going to see the fat literally is bigger per pound than what the muscle is. So literally, let's say you're the person who just goes on a crash diet. You just cut everything out. And you're bragging to everybody, hey, I lost 20 pounds on this diet. Wow, wow. And then literally when you walk away, they're all looking at each other like, where? You met those people, hadn't you? They lost all this weight and you can't even figure out where they lost it at. But then you walked up to somebody before who maybe changed their lifestyle, and you walked up and asked them, hey, how much weight have you lost? And they say, I really haven't lost any weight. Now, they don't know why. It's because they started exercising too, and they started gaining lean muscle tissue as they lost the fat. Therefore, they got leaner as far as the way they looked, but their weight may not have dropped at all. What they did is they basically gained lean muscle tissue that burned the fat away. So what do you want to do? Do you really care about your eating habits? If so, then I want you to follow a few examples. And these are layman's examples. These aren't in textbooks. These are just things I've seen that work for people. Here's an example. How do you cheat when you eat? How do you cheat? You probably never thought about that. Well, certain things come in mind. Here's an example. I got a candy bar in this hand and an apple in this hand. Which is a cheat meal? Well, most people are going to say the candy bar. Oh, you got it right. But you know what? I could take any female who walked in here and sat at my desk and said, hey, Cody, I got the wedding coming up, in 4 months. I got to fit in that wedding dress. We done purchased it. Hey, by the way, it's 4 sizes too small. So what I'll say, hey, let's just eat pure chocolate and I'll get you in the dress. What? Yeah, literally. If I give you pure chocolate or any kind of junk food you want, if I eat less calories than I'm burning, I'll get skinny. I'll fit in the dress. I won't be healthy and I won't be firm. I'll just fit in the dress. Is that what you want? Or I could go cheat number 2, which is this. 4 candy bars and an apple. What's the same thing? No, it's not. Now it's 4 candy bars. Now, not only do I get you intramuscular fat that we couldn't see with the eye, but now I get you subcutaneous fat that I can see with the eye. Now, not only do you not fit in the wedding dress, but it's very evident to everybody why you don't. Okay? Cheat meal number 2. Now, number 3. Now we're getting to the point where you're thinking, well, I wouldn't do the first 2. I wouldn't be that stupid. Number 3. You decide, I'm going completely healthy, no more junk food. But yet you still don't know how to eat. You eat too much at one meal, not enough. Sometimes you skip meals and this and that or whatever. It's just not consistent. That's a cheat meal. Number 4, the one that gets everybody. It's when you don't realize that if you died right now, I'd never have to feed you again because you're dead. You need to realize this. This is dead weight. It literally just hangs on you. When you got in the shower, look in the mirror, it's hanging. This is living. It's burning this stuff if it's there, but if you don't eat, it's living. So if you don't eat, do you starve the dead stuff or the live stuff? Just something to think about. I would have to think, well, I think I'd probably starve the live stuff. If the live stuff's not there, I may have lost weight, but this came in and there I'm that guy who says, I don't know why I'm so flabby. I lost 40 pounds. 40 pounds of what did you lose? We got to get our eating habits right, the correct thing. So the 4th thing is basically this. When you're hungry, you need to eat because it's the live stuff that's hungry. If you're too busy and you don't eat, you lose muscle and your energy goes away. You feel like dirt. You're not active. So there's your 4 things. Now, when you sit down to a meal, think about this. You sit down to eat, you have 3 choices. You'll have 3 choices after you watch this video on your next meal. You'll eat until what? First of all, ask yourself this. When do you eat? You should eat when you're, hopefully all of you said hungry and not habit. So you eat when you're hungry. When did you stop? When should you stop? Well, most of you probably just said, when I'm full. No, never again. Don't do that. Stop when you're satisfied. There's 3 things you'll think about. You got 3 choices on your next meal. You'll stop when you're satisfied, when you're full, or when you're stuffed. How do you know the difference? Well, here's how you know the difference. When you're satisfied, Your energy sustains all day long. You know those people. They never lose their energy. They're going at it 100 miles an hour. I'm one of those most of the time. I'm going 100 miles an hour. Or you can eat until you're full, and you're going to want to take a nap. Now, you'll probably bypass that nap, but you're going to feel like dirt for 2 or 3 hours. You know, you felt it. Or you can eat until you're stuffed. And guess what? You're back in the back taking the nap. You've overdone it. So think about this. You know those things. You got 4 cheat ways, just common sense cheat ways. Then you got 3 ways to find out when you need to eat, when you need to stop. Well, here's your question. You're ready to do this. But Cody, how do I know when I'm satisfied? I've never tried this before, and I never even eat breakfast or anything. So well, here's it. If you're not a person who eats breakfast, you need to realize this. You need to start getting up in the morning and eating something. If it's just a spoonful of something, get your body used to the fact that there's nutrition available. See, there's a thing called an Ethiopian diet that I tell people about all the time, meaning this. It's the people who live in Texarkana or Dallas where the food's available, but they never hardly eat. They miss meal after meal after meal. And guess what? The metabolism follows a leader, and you're the leader. If you choose not to eat, the body thinks there's no nutrition. Here's the example. I'm in Ethiopia. I see one of these Ethiopians, and I think they got a big belly. What's the deal? Are they eating behind the curtain? No. They have malnutrition. The body is fighting to live on what's not there, and they get the bloat. You've seen that before? That's what half the guys in Texarkana look like when they're walking around with just a big belly and everything else is skinny. It's the bloat. It's big. And you ask them, do you want to lose that weight? Yeah, but I'm only eating twice a day. Yes, you're only eating twice a day. And your solution is going to be eating once a day, and that's still not going to work. It's going to sound crazy, but in order to lose that weight and get that belly down or get those inches off, you're going to have to eat more often. I'm not saying eat more. I'm saying eat more often, smaller amounts. Now, most people would call that a diabetic diet, but it's not. If most people followed that, they wouldn't be as much diabetes. But what it is learning how to eat when you're hungry, stop when you're satisfied. Here's how you'll practice this. If you want to do this, I want to challenge you. It'll take about 5 or 6 weeks for your body to realize this is not a habit or an abnormal habit, but it's a good habit. So when you do it, you'll eat in the morning when you get up. And if you basically want to kind of listen to your body, it normally wants to eat about every 2.5 to 3 hours. And so if you eat in the morning and you want to eat again in an hour, what did you do wrong? Well, it's simple. You didn't eat enough. If you don't want to eat again for 5 hours, what did you do wrong? You ate too much. Now, remember this though. I'm not telling you what foods to eat yet. I'm just telling you this. Different foods will make you full longer. Some foods you'll eat and you want to eat again in 10 minutes. So you'll have to learn these things with these favorite foods you eat. You'll have to learn the portion sizes. It's not that you're looking at portion sizes or calories right now. You're just looking at amounts that you eat up front. Let's say it's in the morning. Let's give you an example. Let's say I eat a bowl of Wheaties. I put a banana in there, a handful of raisins, maybe a half, and I put a scoop of whey protein. I eat it. I want to eat again in an hour and a half. Then tomorrow, I'll simply do a portion size a little bit bigger. If I don't want to eat for 4 hours, I'll shrink my portion size. It can be that way in any meal. But what I do is my body starts learning what to do. So once it learns that, I'll get all my meals down. And even my snack meals, let's say you have a fast-paced life and you think, well, I'm a pharmaceutical rep or I'm doing this. Hey, we can figure out the foods that you can put in. Because see, your body doesn't know the difference in breakfast, lunch, and supper. It just knows this, meal, 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 meal. An example of that is if you're going to drive to Dallas. Let's say you're going to drive to Dallas. Well, you would know to fill your car up before you go so you don't run out of fuel. You'd also know probably you're going to have to fuel it up before you come back. But if I had the same exact car sitting out on the parking lot, I wouldn't have to do anything all day long because it's just sitting there. Therefore, you have to learn this. When it comes to nutrition, it's so hard to get a regimen where the calories are always even because that's not the way the real life works. If you get on these diets, well, I'm on a 2,500 calorie diet. Well, what about the day you're sitting around doing nothing versus the day you're real active? Does that make sense? That's like the day you drive to Dallas and the day you sit your car in the parking lot. 2 different days, 2 different amounts of fuel for your car. It's that way when you're active. See, my career was to help people who are active, not sedentary. So if I have a clinical dietitian sets a diet for a person when they're getting in a hospital and it's a sedentary lifestyle, I understand it. But they have to understand this is an active lifestyle. You're no longer sitting on the couch doing nothing. You're now not only more active, but you're also exercising on top of it, burning more calories. If we're not careful, we'll lose muscle and not fat. We don't want that. We don't want you to stop in 6 to 8 weeks thinking, man, I feel like dirt. We want the nutrition to simply match your activity. And the way that works is this. All you do is listen to your body. If it's a day when you're not doing much, you're not going to be as hungry as a day when you're doing a whole lot. So your portion sizes may be different. So literally, if you could think about this, my new perfect is just being consistent. It's not missing meals. And here's your example. I'm starting this tomorrow, Cody. How do I know if I'm successful? Here's how you do it. You do it like a report card. You think about this. If you made a 97 on a test, what would it be? It'd be an A, right? What if you made an 84? It'd be a B. How about a 72? It'd be a C. If you go beyond that, it's pretty well not a good grade, is it? So think about this. If you'll grade yourself like a report card and you'll think, okay, if I were really eating and I try to make sure I get a protein, I don't have to get it perfect. I don't have to have the exact amount of protein grams and stuff like that. That's later down the road if you want to do that. But have some protein in your meal. Have some complex carbohydrate. Think about the muscle. Its favorite food is protein. The brain loves complex carbohydrates. Your body loves it to sustain energy. Your body also needs fat for organs and stuff like that. Yeah, a little bit of fat. Not a whole lot like we take in, but 20% fat, 25% fat, even up to 30% fat is probably okay. Going above that, you're kind of, but you also need vitamins and minerals. That's the foundation. The vitamins and minerals are what Americans don't get enough of. In fact, almost the entire society doesn't, and that's the foundation to make everything else work. So if you're a guy lifting, you ought to have the protein, but you're not taking vitamins and minerals through some sorts of food or supplements, I mean, you're missing the boat. You're not getting a proper foundation. So you got to have those 5 things. So when you're eating, you're trying to think, well, I got to at least have that 80% of the time. I want to have that 80% of the time. Now, if you can go 90% of the time, that A average, great, but it's hard to maintain it, and here's why. You're going to try to do this new thing where you're trying to get all these things in your meals. But remember this, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'd rather you have something that's halfway nutritious than missing a meal, because then your metabolism knows that there's food available. It may not be perfect every time, but at least it starts kicking in high gear. But also think about this. Just because you're eating doesn't mean you're going to be healthy. Think about the guys walking around this town that are having triple bypass when they're in their 40s simply because they never showed fat outwardly. That was almost a curse to them because they just ate junk food all their life. So they're walking around as their arteries are clogged up, but they don't know it from the outside. And all of a sudden we think, well, they look so healthy. And don't think the person who looks to be overweight necessarily is overweight because they ate junk all the time. They may be eating health food, but be like I said on that third cheat way. They're just not eating enough or too much, and so their body's metabolism doesn't know what to do. So literally, if you can just do this, if you can think about learning how to eat when you're hungry, stop when you're satisfied, and do that 80% of the time, you're going to start seeing results. So I would like to grade it like a report card, and I have my name for my grades. Like A, awesome. B, becoming. C, certainly trying, but not necessarily getting anywhere. D, inconsistent. F, failure, why even trying? So think about this. You want to get a good grade, I think. If you graded yourself while going on a scale of 1 to 10 and you said I'm a 9 or a 10, I'm committed to this, then I'm expecting you to maintain an A, no less than a B when you try this eating habit. So here's how you'll do it. You'll think, when I start eating tomorrow, I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll stop when I'm satisfied, I'll try to maintain that, I'll try to get the best nutrition I can. I'll think of the 4 ways that I can cheat, I'll think of the 3 gauges I have to follow when I'm eating, and then I'll do this. I'll get started. Hardest part, I'll get started. Now, when I do this, I have to realize a few things. One is this, I have to prepare. I need to have food on hand. I need to have my snacks on hand. I need to do all this. If not, I'm going to go through McDonald's, Burger King. I'm not putting those restaurants down, but you're going to be likely to go through and get some fast food. So do this. Try to get some food that you know you like. Pull up on the internet or whatever and find healthy snacks, healthy meals. Get those. Get them all prepared. Be ready. And then get started. And gauge it like this. If I were to eat every 2.5 to 3 hours on an average, the amount of hours that I'm up all day long, that would average 5 meals a day. Well, 5 meals times 7 days in a week is 35 meals. So do the math. I wasn't good at math in school, but I'm pretty good at fitness math. I know that if I want to maintain an A, I get 3 cheat meals. I want to maintain a B, I get about 6. After that, I'm a C average, meaning if I'm at the level where I want to maintain, I'm still good. But if I'm not, I'm certainly trying to get nowhere. I'm not going to make any progress. So try to stay about 6 cheat meals. Now here's what you got to look at. Remember, you got those 4 ways to cheat. You know that if you eat that candy bar because you had an impulse buying deal at Walmart, that was still a cheat meal. You ate something that wasn't that. Now, may not change your weight or anything, but you knew it was a bad food. If you eat 4 candy bars, that's another cheat meal. So here's the example what I'm going at. Here's how you can have 2 cheat meals in one and not even realize it. A lot of people get busy at work and miss a meal. They have to be honest when they missed a meal. They were hungry yet they didn't eat. That's a cheat meal. So a lot of people use their entire 6 meals from not eating. I don't know about you, but if I'm gonna miss a meal and not get anything to eat, I get mad. I want to have something that I put in my mouth if it's gonna be a cheat meal. But if I do that, I still have to practice this. If I'm gonna go to the Roadhouse and eat, it's one cheat meal if I decide to eat the rolls and whatever, and I stop when I'm satisfied. Cheat meal. But here's how you turn it into 2 cheat meals. You eat the wrong food and you know it, cheat meal. But you eat until you're full or stuffed. 2 cheat meals at 1 meal. Now, this is layman speech. This is not something you're going to read in a textbook, but I'm telling you, it works. When I start getting love handles and a waist, I know I need to tighten it down. And so by doing that, I have to be honest with myself. Like right now, if my waist is 2 inches bigger than where it needs to be, what do I need to do? Tighten it up. Stop cheating. Write down when I have a cheat meal and face the facts that, wow, 4 of your meals this week were cheating because you skipped 4, but the one you went to the Roadhouse and you ate the rolls, oh, I didn't say roll, I said rolls, meaning 5 or 6 that I'm bad about, then I also got the steak or whatever behind it and everything else, then I ate until I was full. My 6 meals are gone by day number 2. I'm in trouble. But learn to do this. If you really need help with your nutrition, come to a live class that I do. I'm just giving you some simple things that I know that work. If you need help finding meal plan and stuff, they're all over the internet and you do it. I know that most people aren't going to take the time to do it. That's why we have some things that we do here to help you. But I'm telling you, just practice these things here. Eat when you're hungry, stop when you're satisfied 80% of the time. 80% of the time. If you can do 90, great. If you drop below into the 70s, you're not going to get anywhere. If you drop below that, you're going to go opposite. Follow those 4 cheat ways and those 4 gauges when you eat. And you're going to see results really quick. Food's not going to have to be perfect, but it has to be consistent. That, for most people, is their new perfect. Once you get that regulated, after 6 to 8 weeks, your body starts, don't expect it overnight. Your body's so used to all this for most of you, this diet, that diet, it takes a while. But about week 5 or 6, when it kicks in, you're going to think, I'm not believing this is working. Then, when you're ready to sit down and go into a macro type diet and you want to tighten it up, we can do that. But I'm telling you, most dietitians and even bodybuilder stuff can't follow that very long. It's too hard to prep. But this other stuff you can follow and you can get some good results. And when you get to that motivation where you want to go further, we're here for you with the advanced classes. So again, thanks for watching this. I hope you're watching the rest of the videos. I'm ready to see you move forward. It will happen.